Enter the realm of KSBM radio's creation. Student-led from inception to narration. Crafting content from dawn until dusk. All students involved in the work and the fuss. In the heart of Townview where voices reside. Student-led discussions where ideas collide. From interviews with leaders, peers, and businesses. Just watch us work, creating innovative content. Every aspect managed with student finesse. From podcast production to social media press. No task too daunting, no challenge too grand. KSBM Radio, we taking a stand. KSBM Radio, students leading the way. Every task idea, we seize the day. Witness now as all of our efforts break through. KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Come closer to the music.
Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas.
My radio station.
We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello everyone, welcome back to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview. I'm Ruby, here with my co-hosts,
Blossom,
Bruce, Richie.
And today we're continuing our SBM 50 and TMC 30 alumni series, celebrating Townview graduates making an impact in their careers and communities. Our guest today is Miss Alexis Toscano-Solis, a proud graduate of the Law Magnet class of 2016, whose dedication to justice has defined her entire professional journey. Born and raised right here in Dallas, she spent more than a decade working in the legal field before earning her law degree from UNC Dallas College of Law, all while working full-time as a legal assistant. Now she serves the DFW Metroplex as a criminal defense attorney, providing compassionate, accessible, and knowledgeable representation to individuals navigating the court system. As a Spanish-speaking attorney, she's also committed to breaking language barriers and making sure every client understands their rights and their options. Ms. Toscano-Solis, welcome back to Townview. We're honored to have you with us today. Is there anything you would like to share with us before we get started?
thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm going to keep coming back to this over this interview, but put yourself first. As selfish as that might sound, you'll kind of hear it throughout me answering y'all's questions that I have put myself first always, and I think that's why I've been so successful.
So for the first question, what originally drew you to Townview, specifically law of all the schools?
I hate to admit it, guys, but honestly, I didn't even want to come to Townview, okay? I wanted to go to Sunset with my friends. When my mom told me that I had to come to Townview because my older sister was here, I was like, no, Mom, like, please, my friends. And I realized that I wasn't going to go to Sunset. I was going to go to Townview because I had no other option. I knew I wanted to go to Townview because I wanted to be like my older sister, right? Like, she was at Townview, she was in CJ, and she was doing these cool things. And I was like, okay, well, let's give it a try. I thought about going into business, but I didn't. I thought CJ was more interesting, and so that's why I ended up here.
So what made you know that you wanted to pursue law? And did any interest develop while you were at the Law Magnet?
I think that when I was younger, I had family that worked in law offices, so I would go and like stock the paper and stuff like that, and then I would get to kind of pick up some things, and that kind of helped because I was at the Law Magnet, and I had my teachers telling me just different opportunities they had in law enforcement or teachers or counselors, and that kind of grew this field. And it didn't really, that want for knowing about criminal justice didn't really exacerbate until I started interning. I started interning at a law office, which is who I ended up staying with for 11 years, and that's where I got all of my experience.
Were there any teachers or classes that really motivated you to get more into law?
I think somebody that had, well, there was two that had a very big impact on me, which was Mr. Perez, Severo Perez. He was my criminal justice professor, and Master Sergeant Padilla, my ROTC instructor, because they always told me they saw something in me, obviously. Even though I wanted to be crazy, I was still very dedicated to my work. I wanted to be something in life. I knew I did, and they just kept telling me, like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. I just admired them. You know, they were just my role models, I guess you could say, in high school.
Were there any challenges that you faced in high school that they really like helped you get through?
I don't know about, I don't know that it was a challenge, but I definitely didn't fit in well. I guess you could say I was a loser, guys, because I wasn't into drinking. I wasn't into partying. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I'll tell you what, my first day of high school, I ate in the restroom. But that just kind of helped me like focus in what was important to me, which was, I was a teacher's pet, guys. I wanted to get all A's. I wanted to be successful, and I did what I needed to do. And something that showed for that was my grades. That I got into college without any loans, and being battalion commander. That was a very important deal to me in ROTC because I was the highest ranking officer in this school. So just things like that. Even though I wasn't cool, I was cool in my own way, and I thought it was awesome. I thought I was like the best thing ever. But that's just to say that, again, you got to put yourself first and really realize what's important. Being cool is not what's important. Being cool is not going to pay the bills or pay for college or anything like that. What's going to set you up for success is putting yourself first.
What academic or personal habits did you build during your time at Townview that still help you being an attorney?
I think that I was in Skills USA, so we had, competitions and stuff like that. Even though it wasn't necessarily like debate through the government side of the law magnet, I still got to see a lot of things and meet a lot of people and get out of my comfort zone, right? So I think that really helped, getting out of my comfort zone, being able to start a conversation. That's important because sometimes you're in a big room with a lot of people and you feel pretty small, you feel out of place, but building those communication skills really helps, and it helps you stand out.
So how did your experience at UNT Dallas differ from what you expected coming out of high school?
The freedom, guys. Oh, God, when you go to college. I mean, Townview kind of helps you with that, too. They give you freedom. There's not somebody, like, constantly on you, but you're still a little bit babysat. And in college, UNT, it was like, here's your schedule. See you later. If you showed up, you showed up. If you didn't show up, you didn't show up. If you did the assignment, you did it. You didn't. You failed. Whatever. That was all on you. And at the end of the day, you were gonna pay. They were gonna either charge you through your loans or charge you directly cash. So it was very important to me. I went to school for free. I had scholarships. I had financial aid the first couple of years. Then I had scholarships. Then I had to pay out of pocket. So obviously, it was very important for me to keep getting good grades so I could keep up the scholarships. And when I was paying out of pocket, well, I wasn't going to let that money go to waste. So I would say the difference would be the freedom that you get. But with that comes a lot of responsibility because if you fail, it's your own fault.
What specific habits did you build here at Townview that really helped you during your time at UNC Dallas?
I think the responsibility, I was one of those that I got home from school and I wanted to do my homework so I could get it out of the way because I never wanted to forget my homework. I was like a control freak over that. I wanted to be, the best. I wasn't the best because I didn't receive the best education growing up. I never really learned how to read and write very well. Like grammar, literature is not my thing, okay? So even though I wasn't getting the best grades, I knew that I was trying my best to get the best scores on my assignments, on my exams. I really, really tried my best, and I think that is what set me up to be successful in college.
What made you decide to continue your education at UNT Dallas College of Law after completing your undergraduate degree?
So I think after I interned and I was a senior here, still interning with this law office, I got promoted to like an actual legal assistant. So I was actually the right-hand man to this attorney. And I knew that I didn't want to have a boss forever. So I was like, how can I fix this? That meant that I was going to have to go and get my own law degree, which means go to undergrad, and then from undergrad, you go to law school. So I knew coming out of high school that that's what I wanted to do. And obviously, once I got to undergrad to UNT, I wouldn't say it was a piece of cake, but it was very easy for me to work full-time and go to school because I knew I wanted to be successful. Like that was the only way I was going to do it. So my first 4 years of undergrad went by. I got 1B. Okay, 1B, guys. The rest of them were A's. And I was like, hell yeah, I can do this. Like, wow, like, oh, look at me. And so I applied to law school. I didn't get in my first year. Very humbling experience, but I knew I didn't want to give up. I knew that I was going to be an attorney. So the next year came around and I applied and I got in. So that year that I didn't make it, it was very humbling, like I said, but it really made me realize that that's what I wanted. So again, I applied, made it in, and I just kept going at it, and it was rough. I'm not going to say it's a piece of cake. It was hard to work full-time and go to school at night, but it is definitely possible because I did it. And I say that because, again, I'm not the smartest person because I never learned how to read and write very well. My family makes fun of me about it all the time. I mean, I know how to read, but it wasn't like somebody who grew up here. Like I said, I grew up in Mexico for part of my life, and then I came here. So it was difficult to read and write, but I knew I wasn't going to give up. And look where that got me. I made it.
So you spent over a decade working as a legal assistant before becoming an attorney. How did that experience shape the way you practice today?
It definitely helped because this is going to sound crazy, but law school really doesn't prepare you to be an attorney. They kind of teach you like hypotheticals and what you should be thinking of, but they don't really teach you the law or how to run a business or accounting or anything like that. So me being, again, a legal assistant, I was really this attorney's right-hand person. I was doing everything. As arrogant as that sounds, I already felt like an attorney. Those 11 years that I worked there, I was doing everything an attorney should be doing. So I learned everything I needed to do and what not to do, stuff that I didn't agree with. And that helped me hit the floor running when I passed the bar exam, which is the licensure exam. A lot of students or a lot of colleagues of mine that were in law school together are not in the same position because they don't have a background. They don't have the experience. So I don't know of any other colleague of mine that went to law school with me that opened their own office. That's the difference. I was able to open my own office because I had so much experience. I don't think anybody else in my law school or that I know of opened their own. And that just goes to show that experience is important.
So what else besides not having a boss motivated you to start your own practice?
I think having more freedom too. For me, it's not about the money. Don't get me wrong. I like me some money, but that's not everything, right? I wanted to have freedom. I don't have kids yet, but when I do have kids, I want to be able to pick them up from school. I want to be able to do the field trips with them because that's something that I couldn't do with my family. Like my parents couldn't do that with me. So that was very important to, go on vacation and go to this and do that and have more freedom because, oh God, it was rough. I'm telling you, working full time and going to school, I was like a slave to my work and to school. So that's one of the main reasons.
And what's your favorite part right now about being having your own law firm?
I think just not that every day. Well, it was like that when I was a legal assistant, but that every day is different. You don't know what you're going to do tomorrow. They kind of just come at you like curveballs. Sometimes the courts, they'll give you 1 day, 2 days, 3 days notice that you have to be in court, and sometimes that throws a wrench in your schedule already, but I kind of like that kind of stuff. It keeps you on edge, and it's kind of exciting, and you'll figure it out at the end of the day. So I think that.
As a criminal defense attorney, what do you think a typical day looks like for you?
Usually it's court in the morning. I'm not a morning person, so I hate that. But yeah, you go to court in the morning. Sometimes it's Dallas County, sometimes it's in Denton, sometimes it's 2 hours away in Austin. So you got to prepare, right? But usually courts are in the morning. And in the afternoons, you come back to the office or wherever you're officing from, and you catch up on returning phone calls, emails, looking at the evidence, things like that. But you don't go to court every day. Some days you don't do anything. Some days it's a relaxed day. So I love that.
What are some common misconceptions people have about the criminal justice process?
I would say that most people hear, ooh, he's been charged with a crime, and they're like, ooh, that's a bad person. They're not bad people. A lot of people make a mistake we're all young. I was young. I'm still young. We all make mistakes, guys. And so it could be from, marijuana is a popular thing, right? You think, oh, well, I'm going to have this little thing and I'm not going to get caught. Well, you will get caught. Or I had a couple drinks, I'm going to drive because I'm good. No, you're not good. And so that doesn't make you a bad person. You made the wrong decision and you're going to learn from it, I promise you. But yeah, most people think, oh my God, that's a bad person. How can you represent a criminal? Well, guys, I mean, that doesn't make them a bad person. And two, everybody has rights, and that's what's so important to me, is to make sure that everybody is being heard. Even though you have a crime, whatever the crime is, you still deserve to be heard and not have the key thrown out and you've forgotten about. So that's very important to me, to protect people's rights.
So your biography mentions that many people get taken advantage of because they don't understand their rights. How do you bridge that gap for your clients?
Definitely. So I see it a lot in people who don't speak English, but even the people that do speak English, right? There are attorneys that they don't care that you're just a case number and you're just a case that's paying, and they're just like, here, sign this and your case will be over with. And they don't even know what they're signing, right? And especially with the younger individuals, they just want to get out of jail, right? You're in jail and you're frustrated, you don't know what's going on. You just sign whatever to get out if your attorney's telling you you're going to get out. And that's not what's good, because you could be signing your life away. You could be signing your rights to vote, your housing, any kind of rights or benefits that you can have. You're signing that stuff away because the attorney didn't give you the time that you deserved and explained what you were signing. So for me, I make sure, I can spend hours with people making sure they understand, and I explain it to the client and to their families so they both understand what's going on and they can make an informed decision. That's the most important thing, that your client makes an informed decision. That's what sets me apart from most lawyers.
And how do you build connections with those clients and their families in order to bridge that gap?
For me, I think communication is very important. So actually right now, the reason I opened a law firm was because I didn't want to have a legal assistant and just take all the cases in the world just to make more money. What I do is I charge a little bit more than most people, but I have a handful of cases only. So I can dedicate my time to that specific family and client, and I can make sure I have the time to communicate and express all whatever information that they need to make an informed decision. And I think that really helps bridge the gap and helps the client respect me more and trust me more that I'm handling their case correctly, because I don't tell them what they want to hear. I'll just tell them how it is and what I can do. I do not overpromise, because I think that's what gets most people in trouble.
Do you have any long-term goals for yourself or your firm over the next 5 to 10 years?
I don't think this will happen, and I told my grandma, I was like, Grandma, if you see me doing this, you better slap me. I want to stay humble, guys. I don't want money to be the first thing on my mind and just take people's money. I want to keep doing what I'm doing, making sure I have just a few clients, making sure I'm taking care of them in the best way possible, communicating with them, and keep that business model going.
How do you hope to give back to communities like the ones that shaped you, especially Spanish-speaking and underserved communities?
Definitely. So I can't do it now because I have to have a couple more years of experience as a lawyer, but a way that I can give back and that I plan to give back is what's called a CJA panel, or the wheel, which is court-appointed cases. Court-appointed cases are cases where an attorney is appointed to you because you can't afford it, right? Indigent defendants can't afford attorneys, and so I don't work for the government. The government just pays me for your case, and it's definitely a reduced fee compared to what you would be getting paid if you were hired. But that's a way that I intend to give back, because you're getting a great lawyer and you're not paying anything for it. And I'm going to represent you the same as if you were somebody that was paying me whatever my fees are, right? I think that's very important. It's almost like donating your time.
So what advice would you give to the current law students here at Townview?
Again, put yourself first, guys. You can't help anybody, and you really can't help yourself if you're not good. So you have to put yourself first. I know that might sound selfish, but I've always, I always choose myself over anybody else. I'm married too, But I'm always thinking about myself because how could I help my husband or my future family if I'm not good? So put yourself first. Don't try to be cool. I know that's what's important right now because we're young. Don't try to be cool, okay? Like, you do what you got to do to be successful, and it's possible because I did it. I know you guys don't know me, but it was a rough ride, okay? I left home at 18 years old, and I wasn't going to go and do crazy stuff, go do drugs, go do alcohol, or get depressed and do that. I needed to get myself together so I could be successful, and it was possible.
So for our final question, it's our KSBM signature question. If you could go back and give advice to your high school self, what would you say?
This is gonna sound arrogant, but I felt like I was in a good spot, guys. I know most people don't have certain opportunities, but take things seriously. If you can intern, and take that job seriously, even if it pays you $10 an hour, sacrifice. That might be what gets you going in the long run, because imagine, I wasn't getting paid for my internship when I first started, but I made the sacrifice and I stayed there, and I ended up being there for 11 years, and that's what allowed me to open my own office now that I'm an attorney. So make the sacrifices now. I know you think y'all are young and you want to be cool and you're focused on all these things, but you gotta put yourself first and think about what's important. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Toscano-Solis, for sharing your powerful and inspiring journey with us today. From your early days at the Law Magnet to your decade of hands-on experience in the legal field, and now your work as a criminal defense attorney serving the DFW community, your path shows how determination, empathy, and a commitment to justice can transform lives. Your story reminds today's students that no matter how challenging the road may seem, they have the power to uplift others and also advocate for those who need it most. And to our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. This interview is part of our continuing SBM 50 and TMC 30 alumni series, where we celebrate the remarkable graduates shaping their communities and the world. Make sure to follow us on social media and subscribe so you don't miss out on our next inspiring episode. This has been KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Stay awesome.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVT or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add 'em on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook.
Take care.